Welcome to the Black Sparrow Media Internet Broadcast Network.
You are listening to Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a podcast about Linux, open source, and amateur radio for everyone. Now here are your hosts, Russ, K5TUX, Cheryl, W5MOO, and Bill, NE4RD.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. You have tuned into episode number 470 of Linux in the Ham Shack. This is our Weekender edition. It's the 92nd edition of the Weekender, so thanks for joining us for our dive into, well, random topics as we do now. So we'll find out what that topic is in a minute, and then we get on into the hedonism, where we talk about food and music and movies and whiskey and all the things that make life worth living. So let's get to it here. We want to find out what topic we're going to be discussing for the next 15 or 20 minutes. But before we do that, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD.
All right. So folks who listened to the last Weekender will notice that there was no actual spinning wheel sound because the way this gets recorded, that doesn't get played back to the other people who are in the, the hosts, in other words, don't hear it. The people in the stream heard it, and I didn't bother to stick it back in afterwards. I will do that this time. So I've got our wheel of topics, and I forgot to say we are the most terrific amateur radio podcast on the internet. I don't want to forget that, because we definitely are.
Yes.
So let me go ahead to the wheel. I've got all the topics in here, and what I'm going to do is the same thing I did the last time. I'm going to click shuffle 5 times. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the people in the chat will hear this spinning, and you will too, because I'm going to put it in post. So here we go. For everybody who's listening live, here's the wheel spin. It's slowing down, and it's landing on favorite adult beverages. Rather appropriate for the Weekender. So this is going to be a long talk about booze. The whole episode basically is just going to be food, and Cheryl's going to throw in, or booze, and Cheryl's going to throw in some food in the middle.
Yeah.
Just so we all don't throw up from all the booze. Got to have something to soak it all in. So,
well, we should throw a ham radio spin on it. So favorite booze to drink while sending Morse code or while doing FT8.
While doing FT8. Okay. Well, basically in my world, any booze that I would drink normally, I would drink while sending FT8. So.
Oh, okay. Well, at least we've covered an amateur radio topic here.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, this doesn't necessarily have to be about amateur radio. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to have some stuff that is and some stuff that isn't. So.
Oh, no, I just had to sneak it in though.
I see. Right.
Stay in context with everything.
To keep relevant. Yes, I get it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so this is somebody's first episode here. It's no, we really do talk about amateur radio stuff occasionally.
Well, I mean, every other episode is about amateur radio, so I mean, we could skip one here and there. Okay. But yes, it did honestly land on favorite adult beverages. I guess I could do a screen share next time, just so we're no, I'm not lying about this, because I just happen to want to talk about whiskey. But all right, well, actually, why don't we do this by category? Let's do it by beer, wine, hard liquor, and cocktails. That way we can have some different opinions about our favorites. So let's start with the weakest of them, beer. So we'll start with Cheryl, and I know she's not going to have a lot of input on this, but what is your favorite beer?
The pecan porter from
the Big Texan.
Big Texan in Amarillo, Texas. Although the Hershey Yingling is a close second.
See, I like the Hershey Yingling, but I wouldn't even put it close to the pecan porter. I mean,
compared to the other beers that you've had me try, yeah.
Well, of course, you've
Those
only
are
had
the
like
only-
6 beers, so.
No, I've had a lot more beer than that. I've just said, oh God, I can't do that. And, although you had like a pumpkin porter or something.
Oh, pumpkin spice porter, yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. So
It was pretty good, but I don't remember who made it. So
I don't
that's
know.
a bit unfortunate. But I think I'm going to have to sort of be kind of boring here and say that I think the Big Texans Pecan Porter is also still my favorite. So that's where I'm going to have to go. But I tend toward the dark, sweeter beers for sure. Bill, on the other hand, is going to have a totally different take on this. So,
Gee, a favorite beer?
yeah, favorite like that's your favorite thing, the best beer you've ever had.
My favorite kind of beer is free beer.
Oh, and by the way, people in the chat can certainly participate in this. So if you want to give us your favorite beer, by all means, we'd love to hear what they are.
the thing is, the free beer thing comes with the whole Linux thing. So
Yeah.
Well, that's
Free and
true.
open
It is
source
free
beer. That's what I
as in
like,
beer. Yes. And
Yeah.
in our case, it's free as in pecan porter, and in Bill's case, it's free as in.
Oh man.
Come on, the best beer. You've had one that's blown your socks off. You know you have. So.
Well, I mean, I would have to say. Well, I mean, I would be boring and say Guinness, but it's only because it is really like one of my absolute favorites. But I do like Elysian Space Dust. I really think it's probably about the best IPA on the market, hands down.
All right, very good. You said left hand.
Left hand.
Yeah.
Hands down. Oh, left now. No, it's a Elysian. That one is Elysian.
Oh, Legion. Okay.
Yeah, Elysian. Elysian. Something like that.
Elysian. Where does that come from? Somewhere. It comes from
Coastal.
a brewery.
Yeah. Space Dust IPA. Let me look it up real quick. I'm going to mess it all up. Okay, so it's Elysian Brewing, and it is out of somewhere.
The Google is failing you. So.
Yeah. Let's see. It's more details.
Well, while you're fumbling about for that, in the chat, Steve says he will always get Left Hand Nitro Milk Stout.
That's pretty good. I like that one too, but I wouldn't say it's a favorite. But it is a really good stout for sure. Yeah, Space Dust is out of Elysian Brewing from Seattle. So they're in Seattle, Washington.
Very good. A close second for me would be Mother's Brewery Chocolate Thunder, which is a stout here local. So, but I haven't had that in quite a while.
well, you also need to add that the chocolate from it is also local.
That's right. The
Made
chocolate.
at Askinosie Chocolate Company. So
Yeah, I know we've talked about it before. So
Yeah.
Tank 7. Boulevard.
Tank 7 from Boulevard. Now, Boulevard is an interesting choice. They're out of Kansas City. So that's a local brewery.
I thought it had to be something more obtainium,
No. Boulevard is definitely obtainium. I don't know about Tank 7. I don't know how
yeah, I've
widely
seen
that's
Boulevard
distributed.
in New York. So
But okay, well, that's a good run at beer. So the next thing would be wine. So we're not as bespoke about wine here in this house as other things. So I'm going to let Bill take the lead on this one. You must have a favorite wine.
Favorite wine. Oh my lord. Cheap. No, just kidding.
You could limit it to a category if you can't nail a.
I'd say right now, like my favorite wine that I would go out and buy would probably be the 19 Crimes Cali Red with Snoop Dogg on the label. Just because it's really a nice classic red blend wine, and it tastes marvelous for the price. That's all I can say. It's a really good red wine for the price.
I've actually heard several people say that.
Yeah,
so.
it's surprising. Yeah, no. There's like a million wines. Gosh, I
know.
I love all kinds of reds, cabs and stuff like that. Most of my favorite wines that I've had in my life, I have absolutely no idea what's on the bottle because there was like 2 or 3 bottles in. It's like, wow, this is amazing.
Well,
And it was in Italy, and probably is not even available.
Right.
So.
Yeah. In the chat, Steve K7HBT says he likes Malbecs.
Yeah,
And
Malbecs are good. Yeah.
Ed likes Apothic Inferno.
I think I've had that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Russell's not a big fan of Apothic wines.
Oh,
so-
and Darren is very specific. A 2019 Water Dancer Cabernet Merlot.
Interesting.
He says he
That's a
bought
blend.
3 cases of it.
$7 a bottle. That's funny.
I'm going to have to, because I don't have as much experience with wine, I'm going to limit my category or mine to a category. I really like Moscatos because I like sweeter wines, but that's really not my favorite kind of wine. My favorite kind of wine is Riesling. Anything Riesling, I will drink, whatever. You put it in front of me and tell me it's a Riesling, I'll drink it.
Well, give him a Gewürztraminer, and he can have that too, right? No,
Gewürztraminer is also very good too. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything from the sort of Rhine Valley of Germany is good. So, all right, Cheryl, what's on your top?
Well, I'm going to be specific because I think my absolute favorite wine is probably the Moscato from Jowler Creek in Platte City, Missouri. But I do really like their Butterfly Blush too. And I know you don't.
It's growing on me, but yeah.
Is it?
Yep. But even so, I like Rieslings because they're on the sweet side, but they're not as sweet as the Moscatos and stuff. They have more body to them. And, I definitely prefer whites. So, but yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, Jowler Creek has what they call red cock, which is their sweet red. It literally tastes like drinking a glass of Smucker's grape jelly.
Yeah, because it's Concord grapes. So.
It's Concord grapes, yeah, but and Russ does like that. So, but you also like their Harvest Red, right?
I do. I like a lot of the stuff that comes out of Jowler Creek, and I like a lot of other wine. We're supposed to be doing our top picks, and that's
right.
So I couldn't name a specific Riesling that I would say is my favorite because, like Bill, it's just like I've had lots of Rieslings and I like them all. So
they're pretty reliable. There's not a lot of variation in them for sure. I've had probably like 20 different kinds of Riesling, brands of Rieslings or whatever, and they're pretty much all the same. At least to my palate.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So we're on to hard liquor. So do we want to break up hard liquor into like the major categories or just go with hard liquor?
I think you go with hard liquor and then mixed drink. And I think that'll
cover it. All right. Yeah. So let's just do your favorite hard liquor. This is straight, not as a cocktail, just favorite hard liquor. So we can let Cheryl start with this one.
Wow. I have to pick between vodka and rum.
Well, yeah, if you can be even more specific, that'd be good.
I really like the rum that we got in Texas from Dripping Springs, and I don't even remember the name of it.
Oh, it's called 1876, and that was vodka.
Oh, sorry, I said rum, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, vodka from 1876. What was the name of the company?
Dripping Springs wine, or Dripping Springs. That was the name of the company. It was Dripping Springs something.
Dripping Springs. Okay.
It was in Dripping Springs, but it's also the name of the company.
Yeah, Dripping Springs vodka. So yeah, that's it. So
yeah, the 1876. I also really like that one too. But that's a vodka, and of course, my top hard liquor is not going to be vodka. It's going to be whiskey. To this day, it remains the same. It's since the first day I had it till now, it has not changed. My favorite hard liquor is Old Forester 1920 Prohibition-style whiskey. So, no surprise there. I've said it many times on the show. And when something changes, then I'll let you know. when whatever thing comes along that's better than that is going to be amazing. So, all right, Bill, what's your go-to hard liquor?
Yeah, it would have to be Eagle Rare.
The 10-year Eagle Rare, obviously.
The 10-year Eagle Rare, yes. It's, yeah.
Not
I just
Weller?
like it.
Not Weller?
I like Weller too, but I think I like the Eagle Rare more.
Okay.
So if I were to pick between the two, yeah, that's probably what I would go with.
All right, Eagle Rare 10-year, excellent. And let's see, in the chat room we have a mention of Whippersnapper Wheat Whiskey. That looks like an empty
whiskey.
bottle. So, yeah, Australian whiskey from Darren. And then Steve says he's a gin guy. Nothing fancy, usually Beefeaters. Yeah, he likes martinis and Negronis. We'll get to cocktails in a second, but yeah, Beefeater gin. I'm not a big fan of London dry gins. I like some other kinds of gin, especially the ones that are sort of crafty and stuff. But yeah, definitely way down the list on my hard liquor favorites.
Yeah, the lavender gin at Treaty Oak in Austin was good. So.
Yes, that was very good. Very different, very unusual,
Yes,
and very good.
Yeah, very, very different and unusual. Yeah. It had a very, it had like a sweet, flowery, but it also had kind of a lemon zing to it as well to me. So
Yeah.
I am not a fan of gin. So yeah, I was kind of impressed that I actually liked that one. So
All right, very good. So now we've come to our last category, and our last category is cocktails. So what is our favorite cocktail? Bill, you want to go first with your favorite cocktail? I have a guess. You want to guess what your favorite cocktail is?
Sure.
Tequila Sunrise.
I was trying to decide myself. I was like, man, back in the day, we talk about that topic again. It was the melon ball. That was my favorite.
Oh, yes. I used to love Pearl Harbors, too.
Yeah. And, a tequila sunrise. Yeah, that's definitely a favorite. And an old fashioned, of course. Geez. Yeah. Yeah, all the above.
Okay.
Those three are my favorite. Absolutely.
If you had to pick one of those, which one would it be?
Probably be an old fashioned. Yeah.
Old fashioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to spirits for a second. Steve K7HPT said Balvenie Doublewood, which is a really great choice. That's a fantastic scotch. So I like that one too. Not near my top, but very good. And then for cocktails, Ed says gin and club soda. So that's a refresher, a basic refresher type cocktail. So Bill said old fashioned. So that's very good. Steve also says old fashioned. Cheryl, what would you say your favorite cocktail is? Favorite cocktail of any kind of cocktail?
Strawberry Caipirinha.
Oh, strawberry caipirinha. That's good. You know what? If I had tried to guess yours, I'd have been way off.
What would you think mine?
I would have said the tiramisu martini.
Oh, well, no, that is really good.
So, if you had to pick between those,
but also for hard liquor, I like Lefroy too. So
yeah, but you didn't say it was your favorite.
No, well, I have favorites in each category, but yeah.
Well, right, but we're having to round out to the number one.
I know. Between the two, I don't know. I probably the strawberry because it's not quite as heavy and not quite as sweet. Because that tiramisu martini is sweet.
Yeah. But,
so,
all right. Well, I'm curious to know if Cheryl. I drink a lot of different cocktails, but I have one that is always my favorite, and when I can find a place that does a good one, I always go for it. So I'm trying. You
really want me to answer this question?
No.
I want to see if you have a clue.
Mai Tai.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
Yeah.
Were you not carrying two of them around at Cheesecake Factory that day?
No, I had a Mai Tai.
No, I had a Mai Tai on Long Island.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, Long Island. Because it was on sale.
Yep. Yeah, but of any cocktail in the whole world that I've ever tried, yeah, my favorite absolutely is the Mai Tai. If someone makes a good Mai Tai, best thing ever. So Steve says he likes a gin and tonic, KJ5T, Steve. And then the other Steve says Jack and Ginger. Yeah, Jack and Ginger's good. Yeah, lots of good stuff there. All right. Well, is that it? I guess that's it. Now we get to talk more about booze and stuff.
More specifically, right?
More specifically, yes. Yeah, we're going to narrow it down just a little bit. But before we get back into the liquor, let's go ahead and put something in our stomachs to soak up all this booze we've been talking about. And let Cheryl head on into the recipe corner. And of course, after the recipe corner, we're just going straight into liquor again. All right. So what do we got for food?
This time I'm going to share my recipe for magic dough. This is a 2-ingredient dough, which was made famous by Weight Watchers years ago. Super versatile. You can use it for pizza, crust, bagels, naan, soft pretzels, cinnamon rolls, whatever you want to use it for. It goes together super quick, has endless possibilities. We had it last week, I think it was, for a barbecue chicken pizza. And I got 2 thumbs up from Russ because he was too busy eating to actually talk. And in the show notes, there will be a link to several different recipes you can, use it for. So, but for this, you need 1 3/4 cups of self-rising flour and a cup of Greek yogurt. And just, sift your flour if it's lumpy. But otherwise, just mix everything together and, make a nice ball of it. And when you get ready to use it for, say, a pizza crust, put it on some parchment paper, spread it out in a big circle, and load it down with your favorite toppings. So...
All right. Well, that was easy. So now that we've gotten food out of the way, let's get back to the meat of the matter and talk about another cocktail. Not your favorite cocktail, obviously, but one you can certainly try.
I picked the raspberry mojito. Even though I said differently earlier, I am a big fan of mojitos. And this one is perfect for summer. You need raspberries, a lime, granulated sugar, some mint, some ice, some white rum, and some sparkling water. So, and this requires a little bit of muddling of berries and lime and bruising the leaves on your mint. But the instructions for it will be in the show notes. So, and along with my recipe for the crust, or for the dough, there will be a link in the show notes for a page that has several different recipes using it to make, the pizza crust, the bagels, the naan, cinnamon rolls, etc. So you can have a nice mojito with some pizza or something. So.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm trying to get my Etherpad to where I can see it.
Zooming in.
Yeah, one word at a time.
Yeah. Door.
Sucks to be ancient and blind.
All right, so my whiskey selection for this weekender is the Heaven's Door Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Heaven's Door Straight Bourbon Whiskey is distilled and aged in Tennessee for a minimum of 6 years in new American oak barrels. The sour mash distillation process is non-chill filtered bottling, allows this mature whiskey to remain consistent, as well as creating reliable flavor profiles that come from being aged in single-story warehouses. The Heaven's Door bourbon is distilled and aged from a partner distillery in Tennessee. This whiskey is a true bourbon, however, not a Tennessee whiskey, which means the product did not undergo charcoal mellowing, also known as the Lincoln County process. So some deets there. So I did some looking. We have a mash bill of 70% corn, 22% rye, and 8% malted barley. So kind of high on the rye, but you don't really notice it, at least I don't. It's bottled at 92 proof for 46% ABV. Comes out of Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know if Bob Dylan lives in Nashville or what, but that's where his whiskey comes from. The color on it is copper. It's definitely a copper color, and it's got some of his metal artwork on the bottle, so it's kind of a cool looking bottle. If you've ever seen Heaven's Door, you know exactly what it looks like. The nose on it, I checked several other sites and did the tastings myself, going along with what other people thought they got. And with only a couple of variations, I got what everybody else did. So on the nose, you have orange, or orange peel, or orange zest, something like that. Caramel, strawberries and cream, honey, and oak. All very, very nice. On the taste, caramel, buttered bread, cherry, and vanilla. And on the finish, a nice caramel brulee, vanilla, pepper spice, and a slightly drying finish with a lingering sort of peppery heat. which is really nice because this takes all that sweetness and kind of devolves into a sort of nice peppery spice. And then when you go back, the process repeats over and over again. So you get a really nice whiskey. And I'm really enjoying this. I think this might be the first one I'm going to rate higher as a neat option over the old fashioned. It's a really good old fashioned, but I don't know, neat. It's really good. Let me take one more sip here. Yeah, that's really good. That's sweet into the peppery. I'm really digging that. So it's got a nice age on it. It's got a nice color. It's got a nice finish, nose, taste. It's all good stuff. Can't really complain. The bottle runs about $55 for a fifth. I got it on sale for a little over $40. So you can find it cheaper than $55 if you look hard enough. There are other expressions in the Heaven's Door line too, like a rye and a double barrel whiskey, I think, and some other stuff. But this is just the straight bourbon, and it's really, really good. I would highly recommend it. I'm going to give it a 92 as a neat offering. And let me take one more sip of my old fashioned here. It doesn't take to the old fashioned quite as well as some of the other stuff that I've had. So I'm going to give it a 90 as an old fashioned, but still very good. Very, very good. All right. Well, that's all I've got for the Heaven's Door straight bourbon. So what do you got, Bill?
Yeah, I'm having the Peerless Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. And this is something I picked up on my Dayton trip or whatever, Hamvention trip. Peerless Straight Rye Whiskey is well balanced, bolstered by sweet tones of maple, brown sugar, and light citrus sweetness, finished with a hint of oak. No burn on the throat, but my wife will disagree with that. She tried some just before I came down here, and she said it burned all the way down.
She's not really a whiskey drinker, though, is she?
She drinks 101. But she has it with Diet Coke always. She never drinks it straight. So, due to the carefully unique distilling process, Peerless offers a smooth taste that stands out from other ryes. A palatable sipping rye to be savored with friends and family. This particular bottle was bottled at 107.2 proof, which is 53.6% ABV, and it is on the spendy side. It was $80. It's very good, but I would say for the money, I would stick with the Rossville Union, the Rossville Union rye, which is very good in the barrel proof and in the I think they have do they have a bottle and bond or something like that?
I believe so, yes.
They have a 50 as well. Yeah, the 50 is good too. So I wouldn't spend $80 again for this. I mean, it is good, but like the Rossville is great too.
And much less money, yes.
And much less money, yeah. So you can enjoy more of it, and for sure, it's yeah. I mean, you scored it,
something high,
or something
yes.
crazy like that. So yeah, it's very good. It's a very good rye. So this one would probably do well as well, but for the money, it sort of takes a back seat, I think. But it's pretty good. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it and mostly done with this bottle. Not mostly, but let's say a good way through it.
All right. Very cool. So we just got a couple more things to wrap up here. The first thing is announcements and feedback. I only have one announcement, and that is that I have moved our mailing list over to groups.io. I will be adding everybody into there. So if you want to find us, just look for LHS at groups.io. And if you've already signed up for the mailing list in the past, you're going to be added automatically. So you don't have to do it again. And that's all there is about that. There will be mailing list traffic again soon. And I don't have to manage it anymore, which is going to save me some time and effort. And that's kind of what I was hoping for. And then we have 3 bits of feedback. I'm not going to go through all of the feedback because most of them required responses. So I emailed the people their responses, but I do want to mention the folks who sent us email. The first one we had was from Mark Bonanno. He sent us some topic suggestions for our mystery topic wheel, and I put them in there. None of the ones he chose were picked tonight, but they will be picked in the future at some point. So thanks, Mark, for sending in those suggestions. And if anybody else has suggestions, please feel free to forward them along, and we'll include them on our wheel for sure. And then I got an email from Jim Dirksen. who visited us at Hamvention and wanted to know how to deal with the ISO file that you download of our distribution from the website. And I answered him about how to get Rufus from rufus.ie and do the burning process and boot from there. So thanks, Jim, for stopping by the way, and also for emailing us. And hope you enjoy the distribution, and thanks for listening, if in fact you are listening. No guarantees there, but. And finally, I had an email from Rob Marsh, who was one of the people who visited me at the Smart Cam Fest a couple of days ago. And he had a question about how to listen to the show through a podcatcher. And so I emailed him back with instructions and several different ways he can listen to the show, whether direct from like Google Podcasts or from the website or using a podcast app. So that's all we had in the way of feedback. Thanks, everybody, for sending in that feedback. And if anybody else has any comments, suggestions, questions, please let us know. info@lhspodcast.info is where you send that, and we'll be happy to respond. And then we're down to our new subscribers, supporters, and live show participants. So we'll bring Cheryl in here to finish that off. Hopefully she's still connected to the Etherpad.
I am still connected to the Etherpad, so... The first on our list for subscribers and Patreons is Richard Pestinger and Jordan Epps. On Facebook, we had Tom Hillary, Donald Allen Sr., Jimmy Duvall, Darren Wagenbach, and Pat Goodyear. Nobody joined us on Twitter this week. On YouTube, we had James Dinsmore. On Discord, we had Coyote. We had W8UFO. We had KF0JBM, W8UFO Scott, and WF0GBM, which was Jordan.
KF0. You said WF0, but
sorry,
that's okay. You said it right the first time, and then it was wrong the second time.
Yeah. For merchandise sales, we had Hi, and we had Steve. And on the live chat, we had Steve, KA7HVT, Ed, N2XDD, Darren, BK6EK, and Steve, KJ5T.
All right, very good. Well, that brings us down to the end of the show, and I think we may still be streaming, but I don't think we're getting any more interaction out of Discord because of whatever network problems we're having. So I think with that, we should just go ahead and wrap this one up and say thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this 92nd edition of The Weekender, episode number 470 of Linux in the Ham Shack. We appreciate you all downloading and listening to the show and supporting us whenever you can. And Steve in the chat said we're still up, so that's good. So hopefully we won't have these issues in episode number 471. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you for the next one. This has been episode number 470 of Linux in the Ham Shack. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD 73.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a community-sponsored podcast. Our website is located at lhspodcast.info. You can support the podcast by visiting the LHS Patreon page at patreon.com/LHS Podcast or by using the contribute list on the homepage. We have a presence on Discord, Facebook, IRC, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also drop us an email at info@lhspodcast.info or leave us a voicemail at 1-909-LHS-SHOW. That's 1-909-547-7469. Visit the online LHS merchandise store at shop.lhspodcast.info for fun and fashionable show-themed merchandise. Until next time, remember to always heed your hedonism.